last week I posted this picture of a Juno plushie that I was working on with Dirty Fox Games and Boss Monster, and a lot of people got pretty upset by it. There were some people in those comments saying I was breaking copyright or that I was infringing on Dirty Fox Games for the character, and there were other people that were just upset that I was releasing any merch with Juno at all. So I wanted to make this video to explain how I bought Juno the Protogen and own her as a character for my channel now, because the story behind this is a lot simpler than you might think. Let's start from the beginning. There was this game on Steam that was being released called My Furry Protogen. My Furry Protogen is essentially a visual novel dating simulator. While not actually having any mechanics from a dating simulator, like you can't sit there and play games to progress the story just progresses with or without you. But it was still an interesting looking game, and I definitely wanted to try it out. So a few months ago, My Furry Protogen released, and I made a video on it. I want to preface this by saying this video was supposed to be a joke. It was only ever supposed to be a one-off. I had no intentions of actually finishing the series, and I was going to leave it at the one video unfinished because that's what I thought was the best thing for it at the time. I didn't realize that this video series would take off the way it did, and that one of the characters from the game would be such an integral part of my channel and my content moving forward. But I realized something after uploading the video, and that was that it was really fun to make. And you guys seem to really enjoy it. It's rare to get those opportunities where both me and you guys are on the same wavelength for videos, and it's generally well received. So as long as I was having fun with it, as long as you guys were still interested in watching it, I decided to keep going on with the game. I want to preface this by saying that My Furry Protogen is an adult game. There was definitely an appeal in the game from that standpoint. But ironically, as I kept playing the game and kept getting the backstory for Juno, I just started falling in love with the character. Her lore was rich, she had a great backstory, and her character design was really good. And the more I progressed through the story, the more I got invested in this universe that was being created by Dirty Fox Games. To the point of, at the end of the game, actually feeling hollow because I didn't get the conclusion of the main story that was going on. Needless to say, My Furry Protogen was a hidden gem of a game for me and one of my favorite experiences from 2023. So when the game ended, I was really sad because that was the last time I was going to see Juno featured in anything. But who is Juno? In My Furry Protogen, Juno is a protogen scientist who becomes an adventurer with her ship Pixie after gaining her free will and sentience from the primogenitors after the Protogen Rebellion. She spends her time as a biologist studying the different plants and animals from the planet she visits. She even goes so far as to learn what the local society is like. And in the case of My Furry Protogen, our main protagonist happens to be her partner in studying our planet's biology. And our biology. Needless to say, but the game built this up pretty hard very early on. And honestly, it's well written and well rounded. Later on, as you progress through the game, our protagonist and Juno get a special relationship with each other, to the point where at the end of the game, you end up going with Juno on her adventures. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't watched the videos yet, so make sure you definitely go check those out. Now, here I am. I just spent the last 3 days playing this game, making videos of it, really diving into the story, and really just appreciating this character of Juno. And when the game ended, I sort of had this hollow feeling, because in my mind at that time, that was the last time I was going to see Juno unless I played this game again. She was already so well received by you guys at that point that I knew that moving on from that video onto something else was gonna feel empty or not really that good. So I remember having this thought to myself, I wonder if Dirty Fox would be willing to sell me the character. The short answer is no. At first, they didn't want to sell Juno. Now I can already hear some of you typing on your keyboard, oh, you only got Juno because you're well known in the fandom. That is not the case in the slightest. Dirty Fox Games actually didn't want to sell me Juno at first. They were actually pretty unwilling. To go over some of our DMs, I asked them if it was possible to purchase Juno, and they said, why would you want to purchase it? You can just get art of her if you want to get the art. And I mentioned to them that, you know, I have bigger ideas. I want to feature her on my channel. I want to make her a character on the channel. Like, I want to integrate her into what I do online. Long story short, there was a lot of back and forth between Dirty Fox Games and myself. And I want to reiterate that Dirty Fox originally did not want to sell Juno. However, I also want to say I didn't force them to sell Juno. There's no partner privilege here. There's no status thing going on here. I simply offered them what I thought was a really good deal for the character, and we came to an agreement. So, what was the deal? Dirty Fox Games expressed interest in some long-term partnership goals with me and my channel. And in doing so, we sort of worked out a deal where I would be their middleman for Boss Monster to do merch for Juno that goes directly back to Dirty Fox Games. So we talked to Boss Monster, and Boss Monster was in. We immediately started designing stuff, including a plushie and a pillowcase that you guys will be able to get with the launch of the second game. I will mention I do get a little bit of a kickback from the merch being their middleman, but they get a lion's share of it. This is part of the agreement that we have for me owning Juno. And then after paying a character, licensing, and copyright fee, I came into complete ownership of Juno the Protogen. Basically, now I own Juno the same way I own Raeal. Now with this, there's been a lot of confusion on places like Twitter and Fur Affinity. With my ownership of Juno, how does that change how fan art's handled? Not in the slightest. Juno, for me, is not just my character. She's a community character. I originally obtained her because I didn't want to see her disappear after the first game. So all of your fan art that you guys have been drawing is completely 100% welcome. Whether it features Raeal or not, you are free to keep drawing her, free to keep her alive in the community. She's just as important to the community as she is to me. So I would love for you guys to be able to express that. I don't want anybody to be nervous about making any sort of fan art because I love seeing all the work you guys do. The last big topic I want to talk about is how this affects the games. As part of my deal with Dirty Fox Games, I was the one to write out that I have no creative control over how Juno is handled in the My Furry Protogen game series. Meaning I have absolutely zero input in what happens to Juno and how her character is written in the second game and any game following. I also make $0 from the game sales. I didn't want my ownership of the character to influence how they wrote her into the story of the game. So I flat out told them, hey, you guys do what you want with the character. I want no say in what happens to her in the games. Like, you guys have complete creative freedom, creative control. Do with her as you see fit for the storyline for My Furry Protogen. All I wanted was to keep the character alive in the community. And she just naturally fits in very well with what I do here on YouTube and what I do over on Twitch. So to round this all out, to make a long story short, TLDR, yes, I own Juno. No, I don't have a stake in any of the games or a say in any of the games. I will be making a little bit of a kickback from the merch that's going to be coming out. And yeah, she's a part of the channel now, and I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon. I would like to thank Dirty Fox Games and Boss Monster for being so patient with me during this, because it's taken me a little bit to get this video out because I wanted to make sure I had everything in line and easily explained before I started talking to you about it. I've always made it a point to be open and transparent with you guys, and this whole situation has left me feeling pretty icky, to say the least. But it was part of the original deal from Dirty Fox Games to not reveal the transfer of ownership of Juno just yet. Eventually, as the months went on, I felt less and less comfortable, and I talked to them and they gave me the okay to post this video. Dirty Fox Games and I are all friends. I did not get special treatment because of my status or because I am who I am. I worked for it, I showed them what I could offer them, and I think at the end of the day, we came out with a pretty good deal that benefits both of us. So moving forward, Juno will be a permanent part of the channel. And I'm really excited about that because genuinely, this character means a lot to me. And for me anyway, it's rare to find that thing that I enjoy as much as that. And I hope you guys enjoy having her around too. Anyway, that's all I had to say in this video. I didn't want to make it too rambly. I hope I explained everything pretty effectively. If there are any questions regarding any of this, please do let me know in the comments below what your question is. I'll try to answer it as best I can. Stay tuned for My Furry Protogen 2 to release later this month. This isn't a sponsored spot. I just really enjoy the game and the character and want to support Dirty Fox Games because we're all friends. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Raeal the Protogen, and I'll see you in the next video. Wagga, 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 wagga.